Naimbaga bigat kanyayo amin, I am Rochelle Suzette Juan, and I am honored to be your virtual tour guide for today. Before we start our tour, let me remind you of a few things. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box below, and I will try to answer all of them after our tour. And always check if your microphones are turned off. Is that okay, my dear tourists? Great! Are you all excited to be mesmerized by the hidden and natural gems of my hometown? Without further ado, let me welcome you to the first class municipality in Isabela and the home of Pinilisa Festival, Jones. The municipality of Jones is situated in the southern portion of Isabela. It lies 29 kilometers from the city of Santiago and approximately an 8-hour trip at a distance of 367 kilometers to Manila. Jones is primarily an agricultural municipality best suited for the intensive production of rice and corn. 84 years ago, the southern portion of Etiague, separated by the Cagayan River, was created into a municipality named Jones, in honor of an American legislator, William Jones, who authored the Philippines Autonomy Act of 1916 and was inaugurated on January 1st, 1921. It was initially composed of 21 barrios of virgin forest and vast fertile plains with Cabanatuan as the seat of the municipal government. The House of Juan Tirso Mateo served as the first town hall, with the following as the first municipal officials, with the president to its councilors. The first proposed town site of Jones was in Barangay Dalican, but due to the insistence of the late President Antonio Vallejo, who voluntarily donated 2 hectares of land for the municipal hall and public market sites, which is Barangay Uno in the present. Transportation was then a big problem as there were no good roads, the barrios being only connected by narrow roads and trails suited for hiking, for horse and carabao with their cart. These roads and paths quickly turned into knee-deep mud fit only for wallowing carabaos during rainy days. The principal means of transportation was the Cagayan River passing almost all the barrios using rafts and boats. After about 8 years of existence, more vehicles plied between Jones and Etchage. The vast virgin forest and fertile soil of the place were pioneered by enterprising Ilocanos from Ilocos province, particularly from Ilocos Norte, and some Yogads, natives of Cagayan Valley. Other ethnic groups followed, like the Ibanags and some Tagalogs from Central Luzon. The Aglipayan Church or the Philippine Independent Catholic Church was the first established church. There were very few primary schools, all hinged to an intermediate school called Jones Farm School at the poblacion. The early inhabitants concentrated on agriculture with tobacco and corn as the chief crop. Revenue principally came from the real property tax, cedula, and sled tax. The town was greatly dependent on national aid, endowed by God with fertile soil, industrious and peace-loving people, and the mighty Cagayan River. Jones rapidly and tremendously progressed despite its disasters. This commendable stride is greatly attributed to its chief executives who serve zealously. The town holds a special place in the history of Isabela. When the Japanese Imperial Army invaded by the Philippines in 1914, Jones was a shelter for the national and provincial officials and evacuees from other places up to 1942. The town likewise became the provincial seat of the provincial government during the war-torn years from 1941 to 1942. The Japanese forces subsequently occupied it. Still, it continued to be a stronghold of Filipino and American guerrillas led by the brave soldiers under the command of Brigadier General Guillermo Nakar. In 1950, Jones land area was reduced by the formation of the municipality of San Agustin. But this reduction of the area did not disturb and rapid progress of the town. Viewing Jones today in the light of its achievement in the past years and with the present administration led by Mayor Leticia T. Sebastian, possessed with the unstinted dedication to public service, one readily sees a more prosperous and bright Jones tomorrow. What an enduring history, right? I know you are all eager to witness the tourist spots in my hometown. Our first destination is the Dalibubon Bridge. This bridge is a sign that you are already in the town of Jones. It is one of the main bridges crossing the Cagayan River. This bridge connects the town of Etchague and Jones. People like to take photos with this bridge because of its structure and view. And for our next stop, the Jones Historical Shrine and Freedom Park. It is a symbol of the town's culture and colorful history. The towering, majestic, artistic sculptural landmark of Jones was made by the artist sculptor Joel Pragas, an adopted son of Jones. It is now the most sought after piece of art found only in Jones. The shrine depicts the historic Battle of Payak, the still untold facet of Jones' history where hundreds of native Cagayanos, led by a certain Lagutao, rose up in rebellion against the Spaniards in 1787 based on the exhaustive research work of the late Father Ambrosio Manalicon and artist Joel Pragas, allowing the bust of the past mayors of Jones. And our next destination is just 1 minute walking distance, the Pasarabo Center. Tourists can buy and see the products of Jones like rattans, whisk broom, and Pinilisa wine, and many more. Pasarabo Center was established to display the products of different barangays in the town to be able to help the locals with their small businesses. And our next stop is 20 minutes away from the Municipal Hall, the hideout of the late General Guillermo Nakar, where he was captured during the Japanese time in the Philippines. The only remains left in the cave are eroded remnants of rocks that once blanketed the entire area. The destruction was attributed to the bumping of logs and various vegetative remains to the cave as carried by running water that is passing underneath, which usually clogs the passageway of the Nakar Cave. However, the cave can still be rehabilitated to reinstall several remarkable landmarks of its original stature. Jones Isabela is famous for the Pinilisa Festival. The Pinilisa Festival is a Thanksgiving celebration for the abundant harvest of Pinilisa, an upland rice variety grown in the municipality of Jones Isabela. Famous for its unique color and fragrance, it is being celebrated every 17th day of March.
Meron kasing ganong daan doon. Ah,
Okay, my dear tourists, that is the end of our tour. Did you enjoy and have fun on our Jones Isabella tour? Absolutely. You can now ask questions. Please feel free to use the chat box below. Okay, if none, I would like to thank you for your time to be with me on our Jones tour. I am grateful to be your virtual tour guide for today. Once again, I am Rachel Suzette, and I hope you can visit my humble town soon.